My name is Micael Sousa. I'm at this moment a game designer specifically in more focus on serious games, that are games that are created for a specific purposes, usually something with a social impact, something related to learning, to training, to make awareness for something. And I'm also a researcher, I'm a teacher and a trainer, always in the use of games for different purposes. I always loved games, especially board games and tabletop games, but also digital games. And I love to play them. I played a lot Magic the Gathering, and then some miniature games, and then, of course, modern board games and modern tabletop games. But I think it was when I was working in a municipality, here in the municipality of Leiria, some years ago, and there was an European project that needed some action, some tools, some activities to engage the citizens and the stakeholders in the project. And I remember, I play a lot of games, and I know some games that can easily engage people and make them very interested in what you are doing. And then I had the idea to adapt one of the games. And then after my job here in the municipality, I decided to go into the academic world again, do my PhD. And when I was doing the PhD, I found that games could be a tool for planning, because I was from the engineering field and the urban planning field. And I realized that they are a kind of process, they are a very specific research field, and they can really be used as a tool to plan cities, to plan territories, especially when we want to include a wide range of participants, the experts, the citizens, and using and creating an activity where they all together can be engaged, can learn together, and can create results that really make a difference. And this is a way, from a technical perspective, to implement what we call collaborative planning.
Okay, Micael, you do a lot of different and interesting stuff. For example, you help cities how to react in case of emergencies like this.
Yeah, in this case, this is a project that was created for the United States, for Captures. That is this non-profit that creates games in simulation for preparation and preventive planning. In this case, it was a game specifically made for emergency managers and to people that want to introduce to these problems. It was inspired in the giant snowstorms that happened in Texas some years ago, and we created this game to train and to evaluate how people interact and are aware of the cascading effects and the effects that you get when you do not plan in advance for things in the future, because things will cascade and be worse and worse and worse if you aren't able to contain them. So that's the specific goal of this game, that of course will help you and train you to better decision making, collaborative planning, communication, all that stuff, and resource management. So this is one of the examples of something that I'm working on with my colleagues from the United States.
Mm-hmm. And why is it important to have people sitting at the same table using tools as in your games to see and better describe specific situations? What's the feedback from people, from politicians or different strategists when they use one of your games for the first time?
Usually I use analog games with tangible and physical components, because this allows people to be around the table. And when you are around the table and you are discussing, interacting together, you learn in a different way and you create more empathy between the users. And all these type of projects, they are most of it's about learning how other people see the problem and they will react. Because even though we can have a lot of mathematical models, people will behave differently in each case. So you need to include a human factor. This is to include a human factor in the decision-making process.
Especially in a crisis situation.
Yeah, in the crisis. And for example, with other projects, one of the takeouts is, well, we were never together discussing the same project when you are from different fields. Or, for example, when we use this with citizens and the elected officials and the politicians are there, I've seen this, the citizens said, well, I never thought that your role was very difficult to make decisions. So this is a way to create empathy, to make the people more ready to collaborate. This will create more sustainable and communities that are more prepared for anything in the future because they are ready to work together to solve things.
Je pense surtout le contact social. Et dans le contact social, il y a plein de choses. Il y a le regard, il y a la voix. Enfin, tout ce qui est mis en place quand on a des gens devant nous et qu'on partage avec quelqu'un. Évidemment, dans les autres jeux, il y a du partage aussi, mais on n'a pas la personne devant nous. C'est complètement différent.
I think history, but sociology, geography, everything is very important because when you deal with urban planning and territories, all the things happen in the territory. So you need to be aware of everything because when you deal with a kind of a city, a region, you are dealing with the system. And you cannot just focus on the specific part of the system because everything you do will affect the other. So when you are doing a development project, whatever, you need to be aware of the historical background because that might affect a lot of things. You need to be aware of what is the local culture, how people will react to it. You need to include the people in the projects that we do because they are the ultimate users. They are the ultimate people that will profit for something that you do that is really a good development for them. So you need to include them. And you need to have multiple perspectives. For example, my first background is from engineering. I cannot only have an engineering perspective of a problem. I need to include more. And this is why collaborative planning is important because you need to find a method and a process to include all these perspectives in a way you get to a result, a goal. Because some of the problems of this is you might have a lot of good intentions, but if you don't have a process that allows you to deliver a goal and a tangible result, you failed. So you need to find a process to create this.
Mais en fait, il travaille beaucoup, tous les jours. Et évidemment, c'est un exercice difficile de séparer ce qui est travail et maison, quand en fait, il travaille dans l'espace maison, même s'il y a des frontières. Les escaliers sont la frontière.
And often entrepreneurs comment, their comment about the European Union is regulations. Yeah. But however, you've been a part of the Eurobacked project. So could you say more about the project itself?
Yes, I think the EU can have that problem of excessive regulation that sometimes constrains novelty and innovations and stuff that we want to do. In that specific case, I was part of a Eurobacked project where I did a game, and there was some flexibility, thankfully, to create a new tool that was not exactly the tool that they were recommending, but that delivered some of the same principles. Mm-hmm. So it's possible. Where I think it depends who's managing the project, but some innovation and some things outside of the box are possible.
Mm-hmm. And what was Eurobacked actually about?
It was that project about urban security, to increase the urban security, including the stakeholders of a city, and making some proposals and some ideas for their territory.
Great.
Yeah, well, what we are witnessing is an event of the board games becoming more and more relevant and popular. This happened. It never happened this way, with so many board games offer, with so many people playing games, and I believe that it has to do with the extreme virtualization of life, and people need to find the counterbalance and look for physical activities to look people in the eyes and to socialize. And this is an icebreaker in one hand, and it helps a lot in that socialization. So I feel that this is more and more relevant mainly for kids.
I also do some small projects in entertainment games. And when I say games, I say board games and analog and tabletop games. Well, I can say two. One is a serious game that I'm conducting for Captures, that is a research center and a non-profit in the United States that I work for. So it's a game to train emergency managers. And the other one, it's one more connected to entertainment, but also to learning. That is Game Creator Set. That is a game that help you and allow you to build more games. So I'm quite proud of these last ones because they are also the most recent ones.
What he does, he emulates reality a certain reality, into a board game, and then it's possible to test what happens when an actor does this, what happens, the consequences, and to train it in a safe way. For us, having Micael by our side is quite important, as we are having projects that imply more and more knowledge about game mechanics, but Micael doesn't have only the game mechanics. The ability to create mechanics. He's also a teacher, so he knows people. He knows how mechanics, the way people are playing. So and this is as much to do with psychology. And in this way, we have a common project. That's called Game Creator Set. It's a game, but it's not only a game. It's a system of games that will allow people to create their own games. It has blank components that can be customized. In the end, you can buy, just like Legos.
Leiria is a very strange and specific region because we cannot describe ourselves very well. Because we are in the transition in the middle between Lisbon, Porto, and near Coimbra. It's like a land that people pass through and sometimes do not stop. And because of this, because we are not the top cities, the public investments sometimes stay away. But we have the notion here that even though there's not a lot of public investment as in the big cities, we produce and we deliver a lot, even for the country economy.
International investments such as funds from the EU can help cities as Leiria with parks like this as well. What's so specific about this park?
Well, it was very interesting because this place where we are before the park, it was just like an abandoned landscape with just dirt that was used for non-organized parking. Were able to, at the time, because I was part of the team, so this is not my park, but I was part of the team that helped to build this park. The goal here was to create a green space that the people here in Leiria could use to clean some of the rivers that were polluted at the time that passed through this place, to create a place that is local, because all the species that are here are local, the rocks, everything is local, and we can create something that it's urban, but it's local, and it's a place for the citizens to use. I think at this point we are living in a moment that it's possible to go away and stay at the same time. Because when you live in the bubble, when you don't leave your context, you don't learn the complexities of the world, and you tend to simplify everything. And we know that simplification can lead to a lot of problems and hate speeches and conflicts that could be easily avoided. So I would say that nowadays, even with technology, we can go away, you can return, it's easy to travel, and it's very easy to work remotely. So you can stay in the city like Leiria and profit from being connected to the world and make an impact in the world and in your local region. So I would say that be open to interactions, to even international interactions, be ready to learn. So I think it's one of the keyest skills that you need to have. It's be ready to learn, and when you are ready to learn, you can do anything.